What's up? What's up? What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Come on in. Happy Tuesday, child. I swear we go from one extreme to the other around here, don't we? We go from one extreme to the other. Let's get into the things of the things of the things. Okay. On yesterday, we might have to get into some things. Because y'all know how YouTube is. Can't say too many things too soon, too early in your video, child. They won't monetize it. So we gotta be careful in how we tell this story. But let me say hi to the people coming in. Hey, 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 hey. Y'all come on in, come on in, come on in. I'm glad you went live because I'm working late in the building. It's making me creepy. Oh, not creepy noises. Girl, be careful, honey. Turn some lights on or something, child. Hey, Nay, what's up? What's up, Ems? Hey, boo. Now we're actually doing a triple header today, child. I'm working all night, okay? Because we're going right after this, we're going live. I have an update on the Shanquella Robinson story. You guys remember Shanquella Robinson, the young lady who went to Cabo and did not come home. So we have an update to that story. And then I'll be doing an interview on my review channel. So, child, we booked and busy today. So I'm going to jump into it, you guys. You guys know about a year ago, when all of the Diddy stuff first came out, there was some accusations that came out as it relates to TD Jakes. And we talked about it here. We talked about people saying that TD Jakes was at the Diddy parties and that TD Jakes was, hanging with Diddy, and people posted pictures, and there were rumors that started coming out about TD Jakes not being appropriate with people, with young boys, more specifically. We know that Manasseh Jordan came out and accused TD Jakes of some things, and we were even told that he was going to file a lawsuit. That never quite happened. Now, I ain't getting into all the ins and the outs about why it didn't happen, because I wasn't in the room about those decisions and why those decisions were made. But he did make some very strong accusations against TD Jakes as it relates to being groomed and TD Jakes being inappropriate with him. We also heard that there were going to be other victims who were going to come forward and other victims who were going to tell their story. And again, months went by and we didn't really hear anything. And honestly, it sort of took a back burner to a lot of the other Diddy stuff that we have, been getting. Well, yesterday, Larry Reid, over on his channel, he interviewed a man by the name of Dwayne Youngblood, and he told his story. Now, just like with a lot of things, the most sensational part of the story is TD Jakes' name did come up, but I want to talk a little bit. I want to take a little bit of a step back before we get to the TD Jakes piece of it. I want to take a little bit of a step back. And if you want to hear the full video, you would have to go to Larry Reid Live. I'm going to play a little snippet, but I'm only going to play like a little snippet. But it was a longer conversation. So the story of Dwayne Youngblood is a very complicated story because there's so many layers to the story. And I'm going to get to it, you guys. But I think Larry Reid did a very good job of laying a foundation. Now, here's what I'm going to say. I am giving you a recap, and I'm giving you the information. This is not an indictment. This is not me. This is not me indicting Bishop Jakes. This is not me indicting Mr. Youngblood, or I think he's a pastor, Pastor Youngblood. Not at all. Okay, I'm giving y'all the information. Y'all do with it what you want. If you want the full story, mods, can y'all please drop Larry Reid's link in the chat if people want the full story? If you're not already familiar with Larry Reid or subscribe to Larry Reid or what have you, my mods are going to give you guys the link, and y'all can go right on over there and get the full Monty. But the reason why I say this story with Dwayne Youngblood is very complicated is because, hey, Danny, hey, is because Mr. Youngblood is somebody who says he was abused and then he became an abuser. Honestly, it's not uncommon to see people who were violated become the abusers. It happens a lot. I think Larry Reid actually gave the statistics at one point during the conversation. And it happens. And it happens with men and with women. It's not one-sided. It happens with men and with women. Thank you, Abby. Abby dropped the link. It's right there. So there's the link if you want to catch the full interview right there. And I'll be honest with you. If you want to have an opinion about it, I would encourage you to go and listen to the whole thing. I know it's a little lengthy. Y'all know Larry Reid a little long-winded. Mr. Youngblood is a little, they both pastors, so they're both of them a little long-winded. But there's some really, really, really good information that was shared. Okay. So I would say go watch the whole thing. But hey, K-Fit, what's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, Andrew. Honestly, his honesty about himself did lend a bit of credit. You know, I can always appreciate somebody who will spray their own tea, as we like to say. So that's where the interview started. And I think that was a great idea. That's where the interview started. Is that Larry said, okay, first of all, tell the people what you did. And he said that he went to the whole story. But ultimately, he was convicted. He was convicted. I don't have it in me to watch along with the people. Tracy, I ain't fooling with you. He was convicted of SA, right? He did explain what happened. He explained the circumstances around what happened. He was given 7 years probation and 1 year of house arrest, which honestly, I was side-eyeing that because I was like, what? That's it? You ain't go to jail? But okay, you know, I wasn't a judge, jury, executioner, okay? He did talk about the fact that he violated his parole in the last year, child. He was on probation, not parole. He was on probation for 7 years. And at the end of the 7 years, he did violate because he was having conversations with an underage boy, which of course was a violation of his probation. So he was violated, and I think then that's when he actually went to jail. Increase the video to 1.7. Yeah, y'all know y'all can always double time these YouTube videos, child. Y'all can always double time these YouTube videos, even when it come to me. Okay, y'all can always double time. Y'all know I can be a little long-winded too sometimes, child. Oh Lord, Tracy said we don't even have 50 likes. It's 124 y'all in here. Go on now. I don't ask for much. Hit that like button, please, and thank you. So he told the story about what he did, what happened to him. I mean, what his consequence was. He even told the story about him doing, violating and what happened as a result of that. And so once that foundation was laid, then we sort of went back to the beginning. And the other thing that I can appreciate as well is, and listen, and I don't know if Larry is somewhere in the bushes because I did hashtag him, and y'all know Larry Reid get around. So he might be in the bushes somewhere, but I'm going to call a thing a thing. We already know Larry Reid got it there for TD Jakes. Let's call a thing a thing. We know that Larry Reid believes in his heart of hearts, or maybe he knows more than what I know, in his heart of hearts that TD Jakes be out here riding dirty, right? So I know he wanted to get to the TD Jakes of it all, but I can respect the fact that he slow walked it. So we then went to the beginning. So Mr. Youngblood told his whole story from the beginning, and he talked about his sister being violated by their father, right? He talked about how he knew, what he saw, and he said he wasn't even in his 30s until he admitted to his sister that he actually did know that their father had violated her. His father was a pastor, so he spoke about that. No, it was, I'm just, y'all know I got to be careful with my words. Andrew, yeah, you know I got to be careful with my words. When I say violate, y'all know I mean in a sexual manner. I gotta be careful with my words. I'm trying to get this video monetized. Okay, gotta be careful with how I say things. All right. So he talked about that with his sister, and then he talked about his father. He talked about wanting his father's acceptance, and he talked about as a kid feeling like his father's he felt like his father's rejection. He sees it differently now as an adult, and probably also as somebody who's violated young boys. He sort of sees his father's rejection a little differently. So he talks about that. And then he started talking about his abuse. According to him, he was abused multiple times. You used to go to his dad's church? Wow, beautiful traveler. So you know the family? Oh, wow. Okay. So is this the first time you've heard any accusations? I mean, if you feel comfortable answering that. Is this the first time you've heard any accusations with the father? Or is this something that is just sort of coming out recently? I would be interested to know. I'm gonna tell you what I walked away from more so than we're gonna get to the TD Jakes stuff, but more so than the TD Jakes thing. Y'all know what I walked away from listening to this man talk and listening to Larry Reid talk? Y'all, the church is a nasty place. I mean, the one place where people should feel safe. I mean, I'm listening to this, and I'm listening to all the stories of the different. I mean, he talked about his father, and he talked about other pastors in the church, and he talked about, of course, like I said, TD Jakes, and then Larry Reid talked about people and stories, and they talk. It's just the place where you are supposed to feel the most secure. That's what I'm gonna be honest with you. Honestly, that's what I walked away from. I was like, what in the, as to take Larry Reid's word, what in the fruck are we doing in the black church? And I say black church because I'm black. I don't know about, and I don't care about what's going on over there. Well, you know what? I grew up Catholic, and I told y'all before that I was aware. As a kid, I didn't know what was going on, but I was aware of some things that happened at my church as it relates to the young boys and one of the pastors, and one of the priests. So I know it's not just the black church, but we're going to, in this context, we're talking about the black church. Hey, Pam, thank you for the super chat. Pam said the church is where the real freak offs. Listen, after listening to that, I was like, what in the fruck? I'm a steal Larry Reid's word. Larry, if you in the bushes, I stole it and I'm going to keep it. What in the fruck is going on? Now, I heard about them conventions. El Teddy told us a long time ago about those conventions. If y'all follow El Teddy, you know, El Teddy grew up Kojic, and he traveled. He was in the choir and all kinds of stuff, baby. El Teddy told us about them conventions a long time ago. About them convocations. The El Teddy done told it. El Teddy done told it. So, exactly, Nicole Mack said, especially with the history of the black church was supposed to be our sanctuary from racism. I've always been taught the church is a hospital for the sick, so I've always been on God. True. You know what? That's valid. That's true. You're right. The hospital for the sick. That's true. That's true. So one of the stories he told, he spoke about one of the pastors being there, and he said he had just gotten his driver's license, and the pastor asked his father, hey, does he know how to drive? And his dad was like, yeah, he just got his license. He can drive. And the pastor said, well, I want him to drive me home. I want him to give me a ride home. And then he spoke on that pastor, and he called people's names. I didn't write all the names down, y'all. I'm just going to tell y'all the truth. I was listening while I was doing other stuff. I didn't write all these people's names down. But again, if you want all of the nitty gritty, he drops names. TD Jakes' name ain't the only name he dropped. Okay? TD Jakes' name ain't the only name he dropped. He dropped a lot of people's names and people that's in the church. Y'all might know these people. I don't know these people. The only person I know is TD Jakes. I don't know these people. Okay? So y'all may know some more of these names that he dropped, because baby, he was telling it. Now, you don't have to believe he was telling the truth, but baby, he was telling it. You hear what I'm telling you? Now, if y'all know them names, it might mean something to y'all. I don't know all them people. But he spoke about that night being in the room because, you know, of course, it was late. And I don't want you to drive back. It's too late. You know, just stay here tonight. Y'all know what the setup was. And he talked about that night being violated. He also said that he was RAPED'd when he was 12 years old. And so he spoke about multiple situations before he even got to TD Jakes. And again, I just remember thinking, well, and again, you can choose not to believe his story. I ain't arguing with y'all about that. But if you believe his story, I just remember thinking to myself, wow, here is a man who witnessed his sister being violated by his own father and not really knowing what to do with that. Like, what do you do with that as a kid, right? He didn't physically see it, but he talked about hearing his sister screaming, no, don't, please don't. And he said he saw his father coming out of his sister's bedroom with his robe open and not having on any clothes. It don't take a rocket scientist to put 2 and 2 together and come up with 4. And then his own trauma. And again, I'm not excusing what he did. I'm not saying all this to excuse what he did. I'm telling you how I was hearing it as he was telling his story. Right. Chef Don Don probably know all these people. You're right. Chef Don Don probably know all these people. But this is as I was hearing the story, right? And I remember listening going, my God. Like, and he's in the church, right? This is a young man who his family was church. His dad, like I said, he said that there was a thing in the church where you want Sunday morning. If we go into church, you going to church. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. And I know a lot of y'all grew up that way, that Sunday morning we going to church unless you sick. Like really, really, really sick. Like, you know, throwing up on the side of the bed sick. You getting up and you going to church. And so it wasn't like there was a sanctuary for him away from it. You know what I'm saying? Fruit Punch said, as a kid growing up in the church in the South, I saw way more predators there than anywhere else. See, you know, and I'm, again, taking TD Jakes out of the conversation because I don't want y'all to think I'm just beating up on, because, again, these are accusations. This is all alleged. This is his story. I don't know nothing. I don't know these people, okay? But to hear the story be told, we, as a community, we put these people on these pedestals. And because we, and I'm saying we overall, I'm talking about individually, because we have put these people on these pedestals, then it's almost as if we can't believe that they're not perfect or that they are imperfect or that they can do things, whether it's stealing our money and misappropriating the funds, whether it's, you know, lying to the church and cheating on their wife, and whether it's something on this level. It's almost like we cannot wrap our brain around these people being imperfect people. And, you know, it's just crazy to me. I am going to let you guys hear a little bit. Eddie Long, perfect example. I mean, child. Anyway, Creflo Dollar's name comes up in this conversation as well. And again, I don't know nothing about Creflo Dollar other than that he asked his people for a brand new private jet. That's all. I don't know nothing about Creflo Dollar. Okay. Not Bishop Limore tried to tell you. But now remember, Bishop Whitehead was defending TD Jakes. Oh, no, he was defending TD Jakes. Now, he was talking about the other people. You're right. He was trying to tell us about the other people. But TD Jakes, oh, no. Because, you know, he was really trying to get in with TD Jakes. I think he thought it was going to save him. Plus, he was playing that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So because Larry Reid didn't like TD Jakes, he was coming for TD Jakes, child. I mean, he was coming for Larry Reid. Y'all know what he was doing. Anyway. Whitehead's name came up in Pam's conversation earlier today. Pam had a good live, that YSL trial situation. Child, y'all go over there, check it out. So I do want y'all to hear a little bit of his story from his own words. And again, I'm only going to play a snippet because Larry, Mr. Larry Reid, Mr. Dr. Larry Reid, don't flag me, please, sir. Thank you so much. Don't strike me, please, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. We're only going to listen to a snippet of. Now, look who done fell out the bushes. Jonathan, look who done fell out the bushes. Well, I lie every week to the church. I tell them, wait a minute, what did he say? I tell them we starting at 11 and we start around 11:10. I'm always late. Well, you know what? I think we can forgive that lie. We can forgive the 11 o'clock lie. We can forget that. Pam said at Tracy, you don't use the bishop of the Department of Correction as authority. Pam said you need some more hood law officers of hood and ghetto training. That's what Pam said. Pam said, ma'am. All right, I want y'all, like I said, we're not gonna listen to a lot, y'all, because again, Mr. Dr. Larry Reid, don't flag me, sir. Normally, and the reason why I keep saying that is because normally if I'm going to use content creators who I can get in touch with, if I'm going to use some of their content, I usually reach out to them first, and I ain't have a chance. I just got home. I ain't had a chance to reach out to him. So that's why I said, sir, please don't flag me, sir. Thank you so much. But again, we only going to listen to like maybe 3 minutes of it, but I want y'all to hear his words. This is the TD Jakes piece. I want y'all to hear him tell it. I don't want to tell it for him. I want y'all to hear him tell it. So let me get to my timestamp. I got the timestamp for y'all and everything, okay? I got the timestamp for y'all and everything. Let me get to my timestamp. And look, it's been so busy. I was going to do a regular live, but baby, there's so much stuff going on. Okay, there's my timestamp. All right. I thought that was my timestamp. I thought that was it. So for the people, all right, let me connect the speaker and let me get to the timestamp, and so y'all can hear for yourself what Dwayne Youngblood. And again, Larry Reid didn't put TD Jakes' name in the title. Okay, he did not. He didn't put TD Jakes' name in the title. And y'all know how Larry Reid feel about TD Jakes. So, okay. I'm glad. TD said, I'm glad you covering this because I can't sit through that long Zoom. I ain't doing this with y'all. All right, here we go.
18, 19 years of age.
Oh, Lord. Wait a minute. I think I unconnected the speaker. My bad, y'all. I hit the button. Y'all know I always hit the daggone button and unconnect my daggone speaker. When I pick it up, I always pick it up at the wrong spot. Okay. Is it connected? Let me make sure it connects. You've been working like crazy. You better listen. Christmas is coming up. You better get your wifey something good. It's 228 of y'all in here. If you guys can hit that like button, please. And if you're new, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And listen, donations are not required, but they're appreciated and accepted. Okay. And again, thank you, Pam, for the super chat. Hold on, let me take this down. Thank you for the super chat, boo. Let me put this up. Okay. All right, let's go. And with Thais has been covering this as well, the Thais report. So he's been covering it as well. All right. Why is it not connected to the damn speaker? Hold on, y'all. I could have sworn I just heard it connect to the speaker. Hold on. I apologize. I thought it had it connected, and then I hit the button and I done something. Go on and connect now. I know why it's not connecting. Y'all, I got a new phone. Hold on. It's not. Hold on. I'm sorry, y'all. I got a new phone. I got to connect it to the damn speaker. I may just have to put it up to the speaker. I ain't got time to sync it right now. I hope it's loud enough. Let me just put it to the speaker. Let me just put it to this. Let me make sure it's all the way up. I forgot. That's why it's not connected to the speaker.
So I see is in the chat. Brian Keith Williams would come to.
Can y'all hear it?
He came to my graduation service and preached. My mother was very fond of Brian Keith Williams, and I was very fond of Brian. So she invited him to preach for my graduation service.
Okay, y'all can hear
it. And he came in and preached, and then he came and he was preaching for us again. And while he was preaching for us, there was scheduled to be a revival starting in our city by Bishop T.D. Jakes. And so Bishop T.D. Jakes was brought to our church by Bishop Wade Jones, who was the pastor of a Greater Mount church in Pittsburgh at the time. He brought him to our church, and he
Y'all see what I'm saying? He just dropping names, y'all. He done dropped 3 names already, and we didn't even listen to a minute. I don't know who these people are, but he telling you.
There the night that Brian Keith Williams was preaching, and we didn't know who this person was, but apparently Bishop Williams did know him, and he gave a endorsement about how he could preach, and Bishop Jakes got up and said a few words. And so my parents had a rule: if you lived in their home, you're going to their church services they went to. So we went, and he started coming in to preach twice a year at Bishop Jones's church. He was so popular that the church would be full before he ever even got there, before the service even started. The church is jam-packed. Unbelievable response to his ministry. And so myself and another elder who was a part of Bishop Jones's church, who is still a part of that church now, we befriended. No, this is Bishop Wade Jones.
Wade Jones. Okay.
Yes.
I know that.
He befriended, we befriended, got kind of close with Bishop Jakes. And we decided in one of the times he was there, it was going to be his birthday. Now, I remember like it was yesterday. His birthday is June the 9th. Now, we're going to take him out.
What's your friend name again that you were close to?
The person who was in that church, his name is Harvey McDaniels.
Now, let me say something about Larry Reid. There's a reason why Larry Reid is asking for these names. There's a reason why Larry Reid wants him to say certain things. Because trust and believe, Larry already know this story. Larry done already talked to this man. Larry already know. So when he's asking stuff, now I might not know the reason. And y'all might not know the reason. But Larry's asking for a reason, okay? Passport Life said, where was this dude all these years? He actually did speak on, in the interview, he does speak to what he said, what he didn't say, why he didn't say it, when he said it, when he felt comfortable saying it. But I will say this, once again, and this is not directed at you, Passport Life, this is just in general. I really don't like those types of questions because as we know, victims a lot of times, and again, you don't have to believe his story, and that's fine. But victims, if you believe he is a victim, we know that a lot of times victims don't speak. We've seen it happen with women, men, children, adults. People don't always speak to their violation. Now, part of what he said in this interview was when things started coming out, he felt comfortable telling his story because he heard things that was familiar to his story. Now, that was part of what he did explain. But I really, no, I understand that. And that's why I said it wasn't at you, Passport Life. I know you weren't victim blaming. I didn't feel that that's what you were doing. I think you're just trying to see if there was any corroboration. I think you want to know if is there anywhere that somebody can say, hey, he told me that story to you. I feel like that's where you were going with that. So I didn't take it that way at all. But yeah, I think it's fair to ask, is there any corroboration? I don't think that's an unfair question, and if I'm speaking, if that's not what you meant, tell me. But that's what I took. All right, let's listen to a little bit more.
He and I were going to take Jakes out to eat after he preached for his birthday. And so I was able to convince my mother to let me drive her car as I didn't have a vehicle. I said, well, we're going to take him out to eat. I want to drive your car. And so we did. We took him out to eat. And it was decided after we were done taking him out to eat that I would be the person to take him back to his sleeping place, which at the time there was a lady named Sister Giles. She always wanted to house and take care of him when he came to that church. And so I came in.
So I feel like some of what, I am going live. Listen, I might have to push it back. We're going to do the Shanquella Robinson in a little bit. Like I said, we're going back to back. So as soon as I get off of here, we're going into Shanquella Robinson. I feel like some of what he's saying in his story is giving some corroboration because again, he's naming names. He's naming names, right? He's talking about where Bishop Jakes used to stay when he came to their town to preach. And he's calling that woman by name, So, and again, it doesn't, y'all know what I'm saying.
There, drove him to eat and then took him back to her home. Well, after taking him back to her home, he says, come on in, let's talk.
Now, there's somebody in the chat. Again, y'all got to go back and watch all of this. There's somebody in the chat by the name of Brian Williams who they spoke to, and he is saying everything that this man is saying is true. He just said, I remember like it was yesterday, Dwayne is telling the truth. Now, again, I don't know who Brian Williams is either, but he is saying that Dwayne is telling the truth.
And I still felt, you can't even imagine being 18, 19 years of age. This person is killing it. And they're saying to you, come on in, let's talk. And so I did. I went in. We sat down at a very long dining room table in a room that she had. And for 2 hours, it was unbelievable. Pouring of heart, crying, him talking about my father. We talking about these scenarios. And I inwardly just knew I had finally found someone who could get it. Someone who understood. I'm sitting at this table, and for the first time talking to any man, I got tears coming down my face because somebody gets me. Somebody understood what I was going through. Well, after sitting there and having this long discourse with him, I finally look at my watch and I'm like, oh my goodness, I got to go. I got to get this car back to my mother. She's going to kill me. So I said to Bishop, I got to get up. And I got up from the table. He got up from the table. He walked around toward the way I had to exit quicker than I got over there. And when I started to walk past him, he pulled me to himself, wrapped his arms around me and tried to kiss me. And in that moment, I literally died. I could not. I tell you, to this day, I can't remember how I got out of that place. But I remember driving home with all kinds of crazy thoughts and what in the world am I going?
So Brandy said, I don't believe this guy. He is dropping too many names. Sound like a cloud chaser to me. Maybe. So, Tania said, I believe him. Okay. So again, I'm only gonna let a little bit more play. He expands more than what he just said. But again, I'm not gonna, y'all gotta go over there and hear the whole thing yourself.
To do now. And I finally get home, get in the house, get in the bed. I'm gonna try to go to sleep. And I get to sleep and get up in the morning. And in the morning, I step into our bathroom and my home phone rings. My mother answers the phone and she says to me, Wayne, it's Elder Jakes. And I get on that phone. And when I get on that telephone, I can hear water. He is sitting in a bathtub. And in that thing, he says to me, without any hesitation, there's 3 things I need you to do. The first one is, when I come to Pittsburgh, you're going to be the only person I sleep with. The second one is, you can't sleep with anybody else because I don't want to give my wife anything. And thirdly, I will take care of you the rest of your life. I can't to this day remember how I got off that phone, but I do know I made a decision that I wasn't going to the service that night. And eventually I told my mother, I'm not going to go to a service tonight. She said,
Dave, brother Dave, don't you drop in this chat clowning. Dave said that's a tough image to imagine Jericho Jakes trying to kiss that man. Listen, quiet as kept and loud as it is, I was sitting here thinking the same thing because we know what TD Jakes used to look like. We have all seen those pictures. But neither here nor there. I want y'all to hear this last part, and then we're going to...
No. You know we got a rule in this house. If we go, you go. I never told her what he had done. I went to church, and the most humiliating thing imaginable happened that night at church. Bishop Jakes, getting up to preach, speaks into that microphone. I'm going to ask young minister Youngblood to read for me. And after all of that drama of the last 24 hours I had to read before he preached. And so there is so much more to me and Bishop Jakes and my family.
So I'm gonna stop it right there because, again, I'm not going to play too much. I do want to respect that this was Larry Reid's content. You guys go over there. Abby dropped the link in the chat earlier, but if you're not sure, just Larry Reid live. It's the last live he did. You guys can go and listen. You can go and listen to the whole thing. Well, Passport Life, he goes further. I'm just not gonna play the whole thing. He goes further into other things that went on with TD Jakes. Other things. His father's passed away. I'm not sure about his mom. I know he said his father has passed away, but he does speak on other things, other experience he had with TD Jakes. But again, I'm not gonna play the whole thing. You guys go over there. Now I'm gonna give y'all a little treat though. I personally feel like you guys should listen to the whole thing so you can get all of the background. But if you want to just cut to the TD Jakes part, I'm gonna give y'all the timestamp. I think you should listen to the whole. Let me say this one more time. I think you should listen to the whole thing. But if you want to just cut to the TD Jakes stuff, I'm about to give you the timestamp. Go to 1 hour and 24 minutes. Now listen, don't tell Larry I gave y'all that. Don't you tell Larry Reid that I gave y'all the timestamp so that y'all can skip the other stuff. Because there's some other stuff in there that y'all should hear. But I know some of y'all are impatient. And some of y'all just want to cut the meat. I ain't going to repeat the timestamp, but I gave you the timestamp. Okay. So with that being said, you guys, this was just a quick live because, baby, we're going to come back and get into this Shanquella Robinson story. For those of you who don't remember, well, I'm going to recap that in a minute. Greek Sun said, not one, I went to the interview. Listen, you got two pastors up there. You know both of them was long-winded as hell. Now, Larry, I don't no disrespect. But they was both long-winded as hell. Okay. Again, I'm bringing you guys the information. I'm not convicting anybody. I'm not acquitting anybody. I don't have no heaven or hell to put nobody in, so I don't have an opinion publicly. I do not. I don't. Bringing y'all the information. This damn camera. Do with it what you want. Okay. Again, if you want the full story, go over to Larry Reid's live from last night, and go watch the whole thing. Form your own opinion, right? With that being said, y'all, we about to hop off of here. Meet me back here. Give me a quick break. I got to change that thumbnail. I put the wrong thumbnail up. But we're going to come right back because there is an update in the Shanquella Robinson story. We followed it very diligently. This was almost 2 years ago that the Shanquella Robinson case happened. So almost 2 years ago, you guys. So actually, I think it is 2 years ago. So we're going to follow it. We're going to get that update. So meet me back here in a few minutes, and we're going to get the update, okay? All 278 of y'all come right back. Come right back, okay? All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.